Hey everyone, and welcome to another algorithm video to soothe that algorithm feeling.
And if you don't want to see Everett touching himself, then you should definitely check out our sitcom, An American Quarantined in Germany. Wait, are you touching yourself on that one too?
I think I eat bread and drink beer.
Oh, good.
I love Germany.
But if you want to know a little bit more about America, then you came to the right video, because today we are doing a U.S. President's quiz.
Of course, we're not going to do this quiz here in this living room. We're going to do it out in the Pacific Ocean, baby, because that's where you do quizzes, in the Pacific.
This is episode 4 of Everjo Takes a Cruise.
Everjo is on a cruise. Yeah, Everjo.
Ein Tausend zurück.
And we're gonna play lots of games. And if you wanna do the same, then join us on our cruise. Watch Josie give me a bruise, 'cause Everjo's on a cruise.
I'm Josie the German.
And I'm Everett the American.
And welcome back to our channel,
Everjo.
Before we dive into the quiz, let's see what we did on day 4 of our cruise. But if you do want to skip ahead to the quiz, there's a time code in the description.
Finally, we've reached our first excursion at Puerto Vallarta in Mexico.
First time since we left Los Angeles that we get to step onto real land. And of course, what do? We get onto another boat.
We got ourselves on a tourist boat with drinks and food and entertainment.
On our way, we passed by this really cool rock where you can go diving, and I look into the water and I see a manta ray. The Pacific manta ray is the largest manta ray species in the world. There's no video footage, but I did really. It was huge and it was beautiful.
After that manta ray sighting, the boat takes us to a remote location where we get to go snorkeling. Now, snorkeling is probably my favorite thing to do in the whole wide world.
We did try to film with my phone in an underwater case, but it is pretty difficult and there were some camera malfunctions.
But I got a lot of great selfies.
We did see zebrafish and blowfish and dories. We didn't see any Nemos.
Really, we saw a lot of fishes?
Yeah, lots of fishes.
Would you say that we saw a plethora of fishes? After the snorkeling, the tourist boat took us to another Bay of Pigs where there's a town called Jalapa, and they took us hiking to see a waterfall.
Woohoo! We made it to the waterfall, guys!
We made it to the waterfall.
The water is cold.
Yeah, very cold. Hace poquito frío. It took us so long to get in here, our group is already leaving.
And of course we had to recreate the beautiful waterfall picture that every good girl has to do with Everett.
After the waterfall, Ricky Ricardo himself took us to the beach of Jalapa, and we just kind of hang out.
Yeah, so the boat is ready to take off and we're late.
But this boat is taking us to our big boat, so if we miss it, I think we might have to live in Mexico.
I could think of worse places to live.
And of course the little boat had to take us back to our big boat. But on that trip, we got to see a humpback whale.
During the winter, humpback whales actually migrate down south, and so we got lucky and saw one.
And every time Everett goes to Mexico, he has a tradition of buying a poncho.
That's right, I got one from Cabo, I got one from Laredo, and a friend of mine went to Mexico and brought me one, so I have now 4 ponchos.
And of course, you cannot go to Mexico without buying tequila. So we got the one with the worm.
And when we got back to the boat, we had burgers for dinner.
Hi, I'm Josie, and I made myself a regular-looking cheeseburger.
I'm Everett, and this is what happens when I make my own cheeseburger. Look at that beauty. I have to dislocate my jaw to eat my burger.
And to finish off our day, once this guy finds karaoke, you cannot keep him away from karaoke. So obviously, we have to go back.
Here we go, you're so beautiful. You could be a waitress. You're so beautiful. You could be an air hostess in the 60s. You're so beautiful. You could be a part-time model.
Part-time, I know.
Do my dance moves.
That's enough about our day, so let's jump right into our quiz about the U.S. presidents. Hint, the answer is always Alexander Hamilton.
Post.
Cheers.
Welcome back to our cabin on the cruise ship Carnival. If you remember in our first episode, we did a civics quiz. Now we're gonna do a president's quiz.
I've seen Hamilton so many times, I know all about the ones that are in that one.
So we're gonna test out to see how well this American does and this German. Who do you think is gonna win?
If you guys want to play along with our quiz, there's a link in the description down below. Old white guy, orange guy, black guy, old white 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 guy. I know all of them.
Clinton wasn't that old.
Have you seen Clinton? He's old.
He's old now.
From my perspective, they're all old white guys.
Who was the youngest president?
President Obama.
Do you guys know who the youngest president was? Tell us in the comments.
So let's get right into it.
Born to an upper-class Virginia family, who was the 10th president of the United States? Yeah.
Hamilton didn't cover that time.
No. So I actually have no idea. A, Franklin Pierce.
Never heard of him.
B, James Buchanan.
Never heard of him.
C, Rutherford B. Hayes.
Never heard of him.
Or D, John Tyler.
Never heard of him. Also, Buchanan?
Yeah.
Not Buchanan?
You have a Buchanan in German?
No, but I mean, if I would say it, I would say Buchanan.
I had a teacher named Buchanan. My teacher's name was James Buchanan. Yeah, screw it. I'm going to pick him.
I picked B, but...
Apparently, it's John Tyler. Who that guy is, nobody knows.
Tyler took office in 1841.
I don't know how to do markers without marking myself up.
It's the good old stabilo. They don't have these in America.
Okay.
Question number 2. Which U.S. president was born on his parents' Pope's Creek estate on February 22nd, 1732? Andrew Jackson, George Washington, James Madison, and Thomas Jefferson. Okay, all of these, except for Andrew Jackson, are in Hamilton, so that's already good. During the Declaration of Independence, he would have been 50...
44.
That's medium old for the time. This is a hard quiz.
Yeah, even for me, I'm not going to know these answers. Ha!
Washington!
Apparently the father of our nation.
Oh, I chose Thomas Jefferson. I was going to put Washington.
I definitely put Washington because I was like, there's no way. 1732, all those other presidents that became president would have been so old. So, and George Washington, it had to be George Washington.
Damn it.
Number 3. Who was the first vice president of the United States?
Ooh, I know that one. Wait. I know that one. Wait.
I don't know that one.
I think I know that one.
It's either A, Martin Van Buren, B, Thomas Jefferson, C, John Adams, or D, Andrew Jackson.
I haven't heard of Martin Van Buren. He wasn't in Hamilton, so he couldn't possibly have been the vice president of the time. Andrew Jackson wasn't in Hamilton, same logic there. Thomas Jefferson was the Secretary of State, and I think John Adams was the first vice president because he's then the second president. I have that right! Woo!
John Adams. All right, number 4.
The principal author of the Declaration of Independence in 1776, who was elected president in 1801. A, James Monroe. B, John Tyler. C, Thomas Jefferson. Or D, John Quincy Adams. I feel like I got that one. That one seems okay.
Thomas Jefferson. C. All right.
These are my words, enterprising men quote 'em. Don't be surprised, you guys, because I wrote 'em.
Number 5. Which U.S. president is often referred to as the father of the Constitution?
Ooh, that one's also, like, Hamilton-wise, that one's easy.
A. James Madison. B. William Henry Harrison. C. Grover Cleveland. Or D. Millard Fillmore? I don't even know if that was a president ever.
I picked A because, first of all, I haven't heard of B, C, or D. But also, James Madison in Hamilton says, which I wrote, James Madison.
Yes, James Madison. All right, number 6.
Which U.S. president was the last elected during the first party system? A. Zachary Taylor. B. James Monroe. C. John Tyler. D. James Polk. These were all presidents?
Yes.
Which letter have I not used enough? James Monroe.
James Monroe. I got that correct.
I did too.
Good for us for guessing.
I said, if in doubt, it's always B, and I was right.
7. Which U.S. president led both the anti-Masonic and the Whig parties?
Did they wear a lot of wigs in the Whig party?
I don't know. A. James Buchanan. B. John Quincy Adams. C. Millard Fillmore. Or D. Franklin Pierce.
Okay, is John Quincy Adams the same as John Adams? Did you have 2 John Adamses? Is it like George Bush's?
I don't know, Josie. John Quincy Adams. Oh, I put Pierce, just like you did.
But John Quincy Adams was clearly not John Adams. He was born on the 11th of July, 1767.
So there is a difference.
Yeah, and John Adams couldn't possibly be that young.
You're right.
Okay, number 8. Which U.S. president killed a man in a duel over a matter of honor regarding his wife, Rachel? A. George Washington. I feel like that would have been in Hamilton. B. Andrew Jackson. C. Andrew Johnson. Or D. Ulysses Grant. I feel like the president in Scandal is called Grant. And he did have, like, things regarding his wife. So that could be a hint from Shonda Rhimes. Scandal's a great show, by the way, guys.
Andrew Johnson is kind of the only one that I don't really know because he's not famous. Ulysses S. Grant was a military general during the Civil War and became president. He was a Union general. So I do not think he had this dual issue. Andrew Jackson, I heard, was an asshole. You know
Andrew
that
Jackson.
It was Andrew Jackson? All right. So far it is 6-4. Hey, it's supposed to be this way, guys. I'm either an idiot American or I'm a real American. Okay, number 9. Who was the first U.S. president that was not of either Irish or British descent? A. Martin Van Buren, Benjamin Harrison, James Buchanan, or Franklin Pierce?
Pierce and Harrison sound as British as you could be. Buchanan? I don't know what that is.
Buchanan. I'm going to go for the weird name.
I went A because he sounds Dutch. Yes!
It was
Dutch.
Van Buren.
I told you he's Dutch.
10.
Who was the first U.S. president to die in office on April 4th, 1841? A. William Henry Harrison. B. James K. Polk. C. Martin Van Buren. D. John Quincy Adams.
I could be wrong, but I feel like I have an idea.
I can't believe you had a President Polk.
Harrison?
Okay.
Nobody knows no Harrison. 11. Who was the first person to take the presidential office due to the death of a U.S. president? A. Andrew Jackson. B. John Tyler. C. William Howard Taft. Or D. James Monroe. I think Taft is the one who died. I know Taft was the fattest president. Fun fact, I went to William Howard Taft High School. So I'm picking C.
John Tyler. Why didn't you go to
It
John
goes
Tyler
wrong.
High School?
Yeah, why didn't I?
Damn
Who's
it.
John Tyler? What a loser name. Couldn't even get elected. Had to wait for his president to die.
Which U.S. president was born in Mecklenburg County, North Carolina in 1795? A. James A. Arthur. B. Grover Cleveland. C. Chester A. Arthur. Or D. James Polk. I'm gonna do good quiz taking and choose one of the authors.
Right? Because there's James A. Arthur and Chester A. Arthur. You went James?
Yeah. should
I
go
went Chester.
Nice.
So
Well, I chose A because I had just chosen C previously and I didn't want to choose C 2 times in a row.
right. Neither of us are correct.
It's James Polk.
It was James freaking Polk.
13.
Which U.S. president won the election based largely on his victories during the Mexican-American War? A. Zachary Taylor. B. Warren G. Harding. C. Benjamin Harrison, or D. Woodrow Wilson?
Should I pick D because that's the only name I know? Or should I not pick D because the one name that I know feels like the one name that I don't think it is? I'm gonna go D just because that's the only person I know.
I picked Zachary Taylor because that felt right, and it
You're
is
correct.
indeed right.
Damn it, so I can't win anymore, so you already
Yeah,
won.
you lost. I wins.
Double
I
points
wins.
for
I
the
wins.
last
I
one.
wins.
Double points for the last two questions,
Okay.
if I get it right.
Okay, got it.
14. Serving as the 30th president of the United States, who once stated, "I feel I no longer fit in with these times." A. George Bush. B. Calvin Coolidge. C. Gerald Ford. Or D. Richard Nixon. I've heard of Bush, but I don't think he was the 30th president because we're now at like 46. I haven't really heard of Coolidge, and I also think that's a ridiculous name for a president.
Right? Nixon resigned. So I was thinking, oh, this must be Nixon because he also resigned, right? But he also would never have said something like this. I feel I no longer fit in these times. Gerald Ford is totally a president that would say something like this. So I originally wrote Gerald Ford. But that's also reason. That's even after Nixon.
Ford is after Nixon?
Yeah, Ford is after Nixon. I'm gonna go with Calvin Coolidge because it's the oldest president on this list, but I hope it's not too old. So what's the correct answer?
B.
Calvin Coolidge.
Damn it.
Yeah.
Triple points for the last question if I get it right.
Triple, like quadruple points. Actually, this is the snitch.
Golden snitch.
This is the golden snitch
150
question.
points if I get it right.
points if you get it right.
15.
Which U.S. president served as the head of the U.S. Food Administration during World War I? A. William Howard Taft. B. Woodrow Wilson. C. Theodore Roosevelt. Or D. Herbert Hoover.
Okay, I'm gonna go with D because Herbert Hoover sounds totally like somebody who would work in the FDA.
Well, then I'm going to go with B.
Herbert Hoover! I got it right! This is the golden snitch! I win!
I got it wrong. I thought Hoover was part of the FBI. I must be thinking of somebody else.
Woohoo!
Yeah, we have to go with the golden snitch rules because I want a happy wife.
I always win.
Ahoy!
Well, thanks, Everett and Josie.
That was entertaining.
Thank you guys so much for watching our video. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and make sure you ring that bell, or we'll have to write a musical about it.
And a very heartfelt thanks to all of our Patreons. Of all of the Patreons in the entire world, you are certainly some of them.